Hello there, Internet version 2 here with Let's Read Danganronpa 0, where we left off last time. A bunch of shelves and everything fell on Madarai's head and completely, just beat the shit out of him. And Ryouko became super competent and able to predict people super well by reading that she was able to do that in her notebook. And it was a very quick change from her clumsiness to this. So, very curious. Also curious about the fact that it's apparently the first thing that's written in her notebook and she hasn't read it until now. Or has read it and then forgotten, which, I mean, would be a thing. But either way, what we're going to do now is continue finding out what the hell that's all about and what happened to Madarai after a bunch of things fell on his head and knocked him the fuck out. So with that, chapter 10 to 11, because sometimes chapters are combined, I still don't understand that. The dust in the room was thrown up in the air, along with a roaring, growled, rumbling noise. The colourful cans of paint that were lined on the shelves had splattered their contents all over the walls and the ceiling, making the inside of the shed seem like it was lifted straight out of Wonderland. I inhaled some of the dust, and managed to cough violently while giving a sigh of relief. I predicted that Madarai's vigilant nature wouldn't let him leave the vacuum cleaner alone right after hearing about a dust explosion. It seems I was right. I threw the shed's window open, grabbed a shovel and stepped carefully toward the fallen shelves in order to check the condition of the crushed boy. I had to feign bravery while I was confronting him, but my feet were still shaking with nervousness. The hand holding the shovel was already dripping with sweat. Hello? I peeked nervously through the gap in the shelves and saw Madarai pressed between them and the floor, as if he was the filling of a strange sandwich. It seems he was still conscious though, because he managed to look at me weakly. I can't believe I fell for that. It seems talking was painful for him, perhaps because his chest was under heavy pressure, but why wasn't there an explosion? There must have been static electricity and sparks from such a huge impact. Ah, this is cement powder, so it won't explode, I answered, still brandishing the shovel. Cement powder? I adjusted my hold on the shovel and opened my notebook with my free hands. Let's see. The necessary conditions for a dust explosion are flammable dust, oxygen, and a source of fire. But cement powder isn't oxidized, so it doesn't burn. In other words, it isn't flammable dust, so it can't cause the dust explosion. That seems to be the explanation. And you knew all that? It seems the old man in charge of this shed really loves to talk. He sometimes catches random people and makes them listen to him ramble on. By the way, don't you think it's kind of shady that he told all that to a random high school girl? But I guess it ended up saving my life, so I should go thank him once this is over. I flipped through my notebook some more and continued. Anyway, it seems this old man is really into DIY projects and loves to build anything that isn't too complicated on his own. It looks like that's why he bought a large amount of cement powder and stored it here in this shed. And you used that as a decoy. Yes, I wanted you to pull that vacuum cleaner. I dropped my eyes to the notebook again and nodded vigorously. Ah, by the way, have you heard of a movie called Home Alone? That's why it was mentioned earlier. I used one of the traps from it as a basis for this one. I tied the vacuum cleaner and the shelves together with a rope so that when you pulled the vacuum cleaner, the shelves come down after it. Oh, that's right. The dust's secondary purpose was to keep the rope hidden. I used a white rope, you see. You can stop now, Madarai interrupted me with a weak voice. So was this trap the ace up your sleeve? No, I have a different one. After all, in Home Alone, it wasn't Kulkin-kun who ultimately stopped the robbers. It was the adults who came to save him. It was that way in both the first and the second movies. So, you see, the ace up my sleeve would be when someone comes to save me and... Yes, I get it. Please stop. Madarai twisted his face as if he was getting bored. But don't you think it's still early for you... Don't you think it's still early for you to think you've won? Huh? His strange expression caught my eye, and I couldn't help returning a question. What do you mean? I mean I haven't shown you the ace up my sleeve yet. Leaving those words, Madarai finally sank into silence. He didn't even reply when I prodded him. It seemed he had lost consciousness. I had the feeling something was left half-baked, but since my notebook also told me there's a chance I might catch pneumoconiosis. If I inhale too much, I'm not going to try and pronounce that again. If I inhale too much dust, I decided to first get out of the shed. Well, I guess the school's security department can take care of things later. I'll leave it up to them to apprehend that strange boy. Once they do, it's all going to be over. He committed the serious crime of assaulting a woman, so I think they're going to expel him from the school, and that means I'll never see him again. The person who let out a groan like a small animal being stepped on was me. Oh, I thought that was him getting back up. I felt a sharp pain in my throat. Something rugged was tightening around it, making it impossible to breathe. What's going on? Even in deep confusion, I could tell there was a black telephone pole in front of my eyes. Wait, why a telephone pole? I looked up, my thoughts becoming even more confused, and saw a white face on top of the tall and narrow telephone pole. It appeared to be a man's face. Furthermore, it was a face I recognized. There are some things even someone as forgetful as me can recognize. I mean, that face was the face of the man who was supposed to be the unconscious under a stack of shelves. It was Madarai's face. You seem surprised. He wasn't injured. Even his clothes were perfectly clean. Does he have a twin? I think I know what you're thinking. Why is the man I just took down inside the shed now just standing here strangling me? Am I right? A cruel smile tore through Madarai's face. To make things short, this is the ace up my sleeve. Well, a part of it anyway. His eyes, narrowed to their limits, were fixed on me. They were oily and glittering. Well then, I think I'll begin by breaking your arms and legs. It's going to hurt for just a little while, so please endure it patiently. Maybe I should wait until you lose consciousness. It's going to be a bother if you start screaming. Alright, so you're fucked up. His tone of voice was more composed than cruel. It was clear it wouldn't be any use at all begging for my life. Madarai played even more strength into the hand that was strangling me, and I felt my consciousness slowly slipping away. I felt emptiness, as if my very own self was fading away, as each and every sensation was eradicated from my body. I couldn't say anything anymore. I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't make any predictions anymore. My notebook dropped from my hand. My eyes became hazy, my vision blurred. In front of my eyes, both the scenery and Madarai himself became twisted. That's right, twisted. Madarai's body twisted, then flipped upside down as if it was drawing an arc in the air. Then, with a loud, thick sound, it crashed down on the ground head first. That's what I saw. From within my vanishing consciousness, which flickered in and out like a candle, I couldn't tell if it was reality or a dream, but nevertheless, I saw it. Grunting like a trampled frog, Madarai quickly regained his posture. Then, the moment he jumped back up, his eyes were drawn to his right arm, and he stared at it, transfixed. His right arm, from the elbow down, was unnaturally twisted, like bent licorice candy. At first, he just stared at it with a confused expression on his face. Then, as he suddenly remembered how to, he raised his voice in a terrible scream. His voice was a mixture of confusion, terror, and pain. It came out with such a force that it almost seemed like he squeezed out every bit of air out of his body. I heard that dreadful scream, but all I could do was stand there, dumbfounded. No, I didn't even know if I was still standing up or if I fell to the ground. I couldn't understand anything that was going on. And then, I heard a voice I also could not understand. Poo-poo-poo. I may have overdone it just a little bit. Okay, so we know who that is. I'm not even sure I can call it a voice. A noise might be a more appropriate description. Well, it's not like I had any choice. It would be a pain for me if you died here. After all, you're the protagonist of this story. At least for now. That's when I noticed it. I wonder how I could have missed it until now. There was a pitch black silhouette standing right before me, and on top of that black silhouette floated a face I remembered seeing somewhere before. But I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember whose face it was. I mean, we know her. Poo-poo-poo. You don't remember who I am, do you bastard? I guess that's just natural, but don't worry. I'm sure you'll come to remember soon enough. After saying that in a laughing tone, the voice coming out of the shadow turns lower. But first, there's something that still requires taking care of here. What happened next started before I knew what was going on, and ended in a split second. First, there was a hand on top of Madarai's head. He was still on the ground, screaming. The hand started stroking his head, gently. Madarai looked up with a surprised expression on his face, when suddenly, there was a snapping noise in his head, fixed with the same expression, began to spin. Finally, it stopped at an inexplicable angle. Madarai collapsed on the ground before he knew what was happening to him. He spitted red foam at my feet, his body convulsing in short spasms. Just a dream. That was the conclusion my mind reached then and there, and I could feel my body strangely relax. Yes, it couldn't be anything else. The scene is so far removed from reality, it can't possibly be anything but a dream. Even that laughing voice echoing deep inside my ears. Just a dream. Before I knew what was happening, the black shadow was once again standing right in front of me. But this is also definitely a dream. The face floating on top of the shadow, who I was sure I've seen before, started to get talking again. Until you can remember better, you should call me Super High School Level Despair. Yeah, I think that fits. The eyes on that face were excessively dark. In fact, they looked more like holes than eyes. I stared at them blankly, and felt as if my consciousness was being sucked up into their void. Inside the holes was a bottomless swamp, full of black mud. My entire body was quickly drenched in it, as I was slowly consumed by something that wasn't myself. Then, I heard a voice from somewhere far away. "See you soon, you bastard! When we meet again, I'll kill you properly." What the fuck? It was a small voice, coming from far away, but at the same time it seemed like it was also whispering directly in my ears. This sure is a strange dream. With that last thought, I finally became totally submerged inside the bottomless swamp, and then my consciousness was completely lost. Hey! Hi there, Monokuma heads. Hello? The girl tilted her neck. Junko Enoshima tilted her neck grandiosely. It's great that I came back and all, but what's going on here? She swayed up from her crouching posture. There was something right in front of her eyes. It was a dead body. A man, his neck and arms twisted in a strange way. Let's see, this guy is... She raised her hand to her chin and closed her eyes tightly, posing like a great detective on the verge of a huge deduction. After a short period of indecision, Junko Enoshima suddenly raised her voice in her chair. "Oh, I remember, that's right. His name was Marurai. By the way, that's silly of me, forgetting who someone I just killed myself is. Oh, that forgetfulness of hers isn't contagious. Just kidding." So what is happening? So, I still don't know how Marurai got out of the shed, just unscathed. I'm confused what his ace in the hole was. Because Marurai was perfectly clean there. Maybe still twins. And a Marurai still running around after one of the Marurais is dead. And then Junko killed a Marurai by just appearing out of nowhere and just going bam, snapping your neck done. Ran away, came back, and then is here? Okay. Enoshima's laughter echoed through the night sky and seemed to pile up on top of itself. It was as if there was more than one of her laughing in simultaneous chorus. But the next moment, her laughter stopped. Her face turned sullen, as if she suddenly got tired of laughing. There's also the issue of that other missing body. Honestly, where did that old geezer go? Oh yeah, the one that you hung up. Yeah. Hung up. I mean, just hung them. But suddenly she was laughing again. There was a wide smile on her face, as if she's suddenly tired of sulliness. Well, it's not like it matters where he disappeared to, right? Ooh, poo. I am so despair-inducingly great at planning plans. The second her declaration was done, her face turned sullen yet again. But it's so unsatisfying when your plans always succeed. Whose fault is this? Is anyone going to take responsibility? Her expression changed with every sentence that came out of her mouth. But none of it was an act. Every time, it reflected her true feelings. Despair-inducing capriciousness. That's what she was all about. Super high school level despair. Junko Enoshima. With the sullen expression still on her face, Enoshima trotted toward Marurai's dead body. "It's your fault, you know. Take that!" She started thrusting her tiptoes into the body. "Hey, say something! What's up with being so easy to kill? You should have at least made an effort to disrupt my plans. How can I possibly despair like that?" At that point, she suddenly changed her voice. It hurts, I'm sorry. She mimicked the dead Marurai's voice, as if she was on morbid villain, God damn, talking today is hard for some reason. As if she was on a morbid ventriloquism show. "Enoshima-sama, please forgive me." She continued kicking the body as she spoke for it with a comical, overdramatic tone. Dark red liquid came flowing out of the body's mouth. "I'll repent by committing suicide, so please forgive me." Enoshima returned to her normal voice. "But you can't do that, you're already dead." Having delivered her grand punchline, she stepped hard on Marurai's face. Splat! A thick sound of something being crashed echoed through the air. And Ashima laughed a loud, vulgar laugh, as if her one-woman show was the funniest thing she ever heard. Nevertheless, she soon got tired of that too, and her face returned to its original expression. Well then, I guess I have to call that pitiful sister of mine and ask her to clean up things over here. First, I'll have her take care of this dirty body. Then she'll have to clean up inside that shed too. And finally, I'll just have to carry Ryouko Otanasha-chan to her beloved boyfriend, and my work here will be done. Having confirmed her immediate plans to herself, Enoshima-san... Oh, that's only when Ryuko's talking to her or thinking about her. Enoshima started laughing again, as if she had just remembered something funny. I can't do the Monokuma laugh properly. I can't. I'm not a VA. I am a... I can't even do jokes properly, Jesus. She laughed vulgarly and grandiosely, facing the sky, both her arms spread to her sides. Her cruel, gruesome laughter echoed high in the night sky. There was no coherence to it, nor any necessity or sentiment. That was what super high school level despair Junko Shima was all about. Ooh, chapter 12. Fuck. So I know it sucks when I do this. I'm gonna end the episode here. Again, I can see the length of the chapters to the thing next to me, and the next chapter is the longest chapter so far, and I checked it's about 26 pages. What I just did was about 6 pages, and it took 6 minutes, or 16 minutes. So, I'm not gonna put this together. Again, some of the episodes will be short, but hey. Also, if you're watching this as they go up, I know it's been a while since the last video, but directly tomorrow, the next chapter will be going up. So hey, it's just, I've been busy, and when I was planning on recording a bunch of these in a row, I then couldn't. Yay! So that's why I'm super far behind. But I'll do 2 days in a row to make up for it, and then one of them was super long. So, but one of them super short, so I don't know how much that actually makes up for it. Point is, forgive me? Forgive me? I don't know. Point, whatever. Because if I do the next chapter right now, it's gonna be over an hour. It'll be much longer than an hour. So I'm just gonna go ahead and elect not to do that. The next episode, though, will be chapter 12, where Junko's now killed another person. Ryouko has passed out. I don't know if Madarai has a twin or how he got out of the shed so quickly. I'm gonna guess twin, but I'm not sure. And then, I don't know. Next episode will be about whatever. It will be long, too. So, a lot of revelations. Revelatons. So, until then, this is version 2, signing out.